Those papers you hear banging on a desk are an old coach still out on the road, still following basketball teams around. And I insist, our job, we have a job here, shipping container. We have one job here today with our old friend, Stan Van Gundy, still huffing and puffing around the country, chasing, bouncing basketballs. It is to make him laugh. For the next 24 minutes or so, we must make this human being laugh. Are you going to help me? Is the group going to help me on this?
We are here, Dano.
I don't feel like you're here. I don't feel like you're with me, okay? We need to do this with Stan. You can't get so used to Stan Van Gundy making appearances here that you arrive, and he arrives, and you've got this kind of indifference on you. Look at you guys. Will you show some enthusiasm for Stan being here, please?
Woo! Yeah, Stan. We stand Stan.
It used to be such a big deal when he came around here. Back when he was running franchises and not just talking about the games.
Can only dial it up so much, man.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
you guys are tired.
Like, you got nothing if I'm just back here going, woo, Stan.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so
much.
fine. Okay, now it's been revealed. Now you've shown people too much behind the curtain.
So easy, is it, Mike?
We were never enthusiastic when Stan Van Gundy came around here.
Motivation?
It was always feigned enthusiasm. He'd always talk about his politics, his liberal politics.
He is friends with my favorite state representative, Anna Eskamani.
Oh, he's trying. Look, can you imagine what Stan's life has been recently? As he's deeply cared about doing politics on the ground in Florida. And all around him, he gets overrun by corruption and sewage. Dumber and dumber by the day. Some of it gun wielding. Woo!
That is for sure.
Honestly, it is nice to see you, at least for me. I want to talk politics with you because you have tried for the last 10 years, and before that, really, but you've tried to be a progressive, decent human being. And all around you, politics trample you.
Forward 30.
It's tough in this state. There's no question. And I think the real challenge for progressives in this state is to not get beaten down in Florida and to keep showing up and keep trying to make a difference, because you don't get a lot of positive reinforcement in terms of electoral results.
Do you get, I will talk basketball with him in a second. It's been too long since I've seen him. It makes me happy to see your face. I don't want to normalize what LeBron is doing, that we can go this far into the show without talking about the oldest dude in the league. They're coming back from 21 against a Clippers team that can win the championship, hitting 7 threes and doing it at that age. It's just insane. Like, there's not really a precedent for it. So I want to talk to you about that part. But I am curious before we get started. So Mitch McConnell is now leaving, and, I want to make jokes about he'll spend the next, 4,000 years resting comfortably wherever it is that he rests.
In a turtle shell.
But yeah, he's been he has been a plague, and yet somehow more reasonable than what's coming. Somehow he has been an evil plague for decades, but he's not okay with insurrections.
No, but he was fine with subverting, hundreds of years of precedent to not even bring Merrick Garland to a vote on the Supreme Court. He was fine with that, with stealing a seat on the Supreme Court. But you are right in that the one thing I think that we know about today's Republican Party is it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. So if you didn't like Kevin McCarthy, great. It brought you Mike Johnson, who not only is far more regressive, but also far more incompetent. I mean, this guy's just a clown. And then, so from Mitch McConnell, who knows where we go, but you can just count on it being worse.
Should I be concerned, as someone that is not a conservative, that there have been a lot of Republican leadership positions that have had changeover where, I don't know how you feel about this, but most people within those parties would say these are voices of reason. Even Mitch McConnell during January 6th was looked to as a voice of reason when everything was going on. You have these people stepping aside and being replaced by more MAGA conservatives. How troubling is that for the election?
Well, look, I think the whole thing is troubling in that we have had numerous people who have just foregone their previous principles and beliefs. And people I maybe didn't even believe, agree with politically anyway, but they've just foregone those beliefs and are just totally subservient to Donald Trump. I mean, the amazing lack of self-respect on the part of leaders. I shouldn't even use the word leaders. Prominent people in that party is amazing. I mean, Elise Stefanik was an intelligent, thoughtful conservative. She just gave it all up, said, you know what, I'm going to chase power. I'll do whatever Donald Trump wants. I'll back him on anything. I'll say the election results were fraudulent. I mean, it's really amazing. The control he has gained over supposedly intelligent people.
Stan, let me ask you about what's happening all around you, because you talk about it matter-of-factly, but as I've mentioned to the audience, for years now, you've been doing the work in your community. You've actually poured many, many hours into not wanting political power, just wanting to make sure things are fair and decent and not unreasonable. It seems to me that you're living in a vastly more unreasonable time now than you were even 8 years ago when you started this. And I'm wondering, from your perspective, how do you not feel hopeless and helpless?
Well, I do a lot of times. To be quite honest, I mean, the last go round, 2022, we had, I thought, a lot of good local candidates for the state house and state senate in Florida. Women candidates. We hosted a fundraiser for them. We put a lot of money into the campaigns of those women. I thought they were outstanding, and other than the previously mentioned Anna Eskamani, we couldn't get a win. And it's discouraging, especially when you're running against people that are just really bad, not only bad representatives, but in my opinion, just their values are bad and they don't care about people. And to lose those elections, it's discouraging. It is. And,
but also on top of that, I would think it almost as exasperating that the conversation, it's not even just that you're losing the fights or feel like you're losing the fights. It's also that the discourse keeps getting dumber, empirically, nonsensically dumber.
I mean, look, we're banning books. We pulled in Florida, we have 2 districts at least that for review pulled the dictionary off bookshelves in schools. It's hard to get more ridiculous than what we're doing. We're pulling classics off the bookshelves. We're pulling dictionary. I mean, it's insanity. And now we've got this social media law that's going to pass. And quite honestly, it's not just the Republicans. Only 7 Democrats ended up voting against it. I don't know what's going on, but this state, for someone like me anyway, is heading further and further away from the things I value all the time. And it is discouraging. And I wish I could say I see the end in sight, but I don't. You're right. It's getting worse, not better.